Hey, what's up, everybody? Coach Kyle here, and today I want to talk about an article published in the Journal of Science and Medicine in Sport in late 2019. It talked about iron deficiency in elite athletes, and I thought this was an important subject to keep in mind if you're an elite athlete, because if you're talking about elite athletes, you assume they have everything dialed in. But that's not always the case. And these are the people who we assume are doing whatever they're doing really well. And the purpose of this study was to describe the distribution of serum ferritin in a cohort of elite athletes. So the electronic health records of a bit over 1,000. It was like 1,087 elite adult athletes. It was about 50-50 men and women from 2012 to 2017 were examined retrospectively. The authors compared serum ferritin values to the published normal values in normal population data. And if you're not aware, ferritin is an intracellular protein that stores iron and releases it in a controlled fashion. It basically acts as a buffer against iron deficiency and iron overload, and it's very important when it comes to providing you with the energy required not only for your daily life but also just, running. If through the oxygen, it fuels literally everything we do. So it was found that the serum ferritin distribution in the male athletes was significantly lower than the normal male 20-something-year-old. The serum ferritin status was actually similar in female athletes versus normal 20-something-year-old females, using the criteria value of 35 nanograms per milliliter for stage 1 iron deficiency. 15% of the male athletes and half of the females displayed suboptimal iron status. So this is pretty crazy. So what can we learn from this? So 15% of the male athletes hit the criteria for stage 1 iron deficiency, and that was higher than the normal male population. Yet the females, like I said, were in line with the general population, and half of them displayed suboptimal levels. And that's crazy. So as a vegan, I think I also must keep in mind or remind you that this was not a study on vegetarian or vegan athletes. And it's likely that very few to zero of the participants in this study were, full plant-based eaters. Yet, 15% of the males and half of the women displayed, again, suboptimal iron status. And in fact, a paper published in the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine in 2018 titled Iron Status of Vegetarian Adults, and it was a literature review, said that when comparing the iron status among vegetarians and non-vegetarians, they found that there was relatively low deficiency rates among males in the vegetarian and non-vegetarian eaters, while in females there was a higher deficiency prevalence among the vegetarians compared to the non-vegetarians. However, the deficiency differences were as wide as 30% versus 10% among vegetarians and non-vegetarians in China, and as small as 13% or 10% among vegans and non-vegetarians in the United States. And the most important thing that these researchers from this study really seemed to try to get across was that there's a huge amount of variation among the differences, different places, cultures, such as looking at Catholic nuns versus college students, versus Indians versus Caucasian vegetarians and non-vegetarians. Huge variation in iron statuses. So whatever your dietary preference, iron deficiency is not a vegan problem, it's a person problem. It's a human being problem, and it can't hurt for everybody to just get tested once a year or so. It's not expensive to do. As I suggest, the authors kind of state that it's likely, a good idea to just go in to a local clinic or one of those places that do like urine tests for work. I can't remember what they're called, but go in there and have them. If you don't get this through work, just have a blood panel done. Have your iron, vitamin D, etc. checked. Consider this as an investment not only in your running but your general health. And it can't hurt to have it done once a year. It's not expensive, and it gives you a little bit of insight into what's actually going on in your body, and if there's anything that's deficient, and if there's that's something that you could if you're deficient in vitamin D or iron, you can fix that and you'll probably feel better. Even if you think you feel fine now, get that dialed in and you might just feel better. You might just start running a little better. So, get it done. It doesn't hurt anything, and you might learn something helpful. So, questions, comments, drop them below. And as always, you keep running, I'll keep coaching.